Are you ready to travel the multiverse? If so, then hold on to your dice as we delve into races of the multiverse. Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host Ian.
I'm your co-host Brandon. We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
I am super excited for our main topic today. We are covering the Unearthed Arcana 2021 Travelers of the Multiverse. In my opinion, is Spelljammer on the way? Oh God, I really hope so. It was one of my favorite settings, and there's a lot of uh, Spelljammer feel in this supplement, so I'm really excited. Have you guys, when you guys look through this, did it? What did you think about this Unearthed Arcana and its contents of races?
Well, it's definitely nice to have a few of these races back, that's for sure.
Brandon?
Look at this; it reminds me of that movie.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
That's a good one, yes. But there's another one where it's like you put on glasses and you can see that normal people.
Oh, they live?
I
They
think
just
we
freeze.
lost him. Maybe. Well, that's what I get for asking him a question, I suppose. All right. Well, let's get into it. Hopefully, he'll come back. I actually do have
People are actually aliens, and like billboards that they.
Are you back? Okay. So
Refresh.
we are going to talk some of the different things. I'm going to go ahead and pull up on the screen the Unearthed Arcana as we kind of scroll through it. I really enjoy this content. First of all, we get a myriad of new races from Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford. The first one we're going to talk about is the Astral elf. This, I think
Well,
they
new in the
actually,
sense that they're rehashing old editions stuff.
yeah.
But yeah.
So new for 5e, but old material, right?
Yeah.
So, Ian, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Astral elves?
Well, the Astral elves are a group of elves who long ago ventured onto the astral plane. They live in the silver void, which has imbued their souls with a spark of divine light, which manifests as a starry gleam in their eyes, because nothing ages in the astral plane. The astral elves live for thousands of years, and their longevity gives them an unusual perspective on time. They
Yes.
get dark vision as usual by ancestry, keen senses, trance, like basically any other elf does, but they also gain astral fire, which allows them to choose to cast dancing light, or sacred flame, using int, wisdom, or charisma for the spellcasting ability score for those that matters. First, I think it's kind of weird that they have dark vision and get light cantrips because they won't need it, but and and when they succeed on the death save, they regain a number of hit points equal to their proficiency bonus plus their intelligence, wisdom, or con mod, but they can't use it until a long rest. So basically, it's like what the kind of what the orcs do, half orcs do, but on crack, kind of.
Yeah.
But
That Radiant Soul feature is really unique because I haven't seen a lot of features that focus on the death save aspect
Yep.
of the game, much less if you succeed automatically give you hit points.
Yep.
I envision in my mind like the character glowing in their eyes, their whole body glowing in this energy, and they just slowly rising up like a one of those old cartoons, right, from their back onto
It's like when
their
Goku's about to fail, and then he's just like, no.
Yep.
yeah.
And whenever they finish a long rest using trance, they can gain 2 proficiencies of either weapon or tools of their choice. So
That is so cool, especially if you it really captures and lived thing where, okay, I want to know how to do this, so after I take a long rest, I'll access my ancient memories and pull out the proficiency that I need, which is really cool. Overall, this one kind of I really enjoyed. They still have a limit on their age, which is 750 years old, which I thought was kind of a surprise because I felt like stuff that's on the astral plane, does it still age normally?
which is what, and they say in the flavor text they live what, thousands of years. So
Yeah, so that was kind of but maybe the soul is taking new forms, I guess. Brandon, do you have any thought on the astral elf?
I do not.
Okay. Those of you in the audience, if you have any questions in regards to these races, please let us know. Brandon, you want to tell us about the? This is one
The
of my favorites, the auto gnome.
The autognome. Autognomes are mechanical beings built by rock gnomes in their image, usually with a particular purpose in mind. For example, a gnome might build an autognome to be a steadfast colleague or a loyal companion, sometimes because of a malfunction or a unique circumstance. An autognome becomes separated from its creator and strikes out on its own. That's like losing grip with AI.
That's very cool.
Traits: construct instead of humanoid. Armored casing. You are encased in thin metal or some other durable metal. While you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 13 plus your dex mod. Which
That's awesome.
That's versus the 10 plus your dex mod, right?
All right. Yep. That pretty much puts it at the same level as mage armor, doesn't it?
I believe it does.
Huh. I like that.
Built for success, you can add a d4 to one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you make, and you can do so after seeing the d20, but before the effects of the roll is resolved. So,
that is really cool. So that's how they can use that a number of times equal to the proficiency bonus. I've been seeing more and more of that where the number of times you can use something isn't based on your ability modifier and instead is your proficiency bonus, which honestly I like a lot better because then it's not tied to a specific stat, which is great for multi-classing or changing up your builds a little bit.
And it scales as you level up.
Yep. So eventually you do actually get more than what you would get. It just takes a little longer to get there, which is pretty cool. But this effect in and of itself is pretty dope. This is like a minor like bardic inspiration, right? Or a minor lucky feature. The lucky feat, right?
Somewhat.
Add it to the attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you make. I love it.
Let's see what else we got with these guys. There's that. There's mechanical nature. You have resistance to poison damage and immunity to disease. Not too surprised. I mean, you're mechanical. And you have advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed or poisoned. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe.
That's awesome. That's similar to
like
the
Warforged.
Forge, right?
Yep.
Sentry's Rest. When you take a long rest, you spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state instead of sleeping. In this state, you appear inert, but you aren't unconscious.
So we've seen that before, I think, with the Warforged.
Yep. You gain 2 tool proficiencies of your choice.
Then this one's cool.
True Life. If the mending spell is cast on you, you can expend a hit die, roll it, and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your constitution modifier, minimum of 1 hit point. In addition, your creator designed you to benefit from common spells that preserve life, but that normally don't affect constructs. Cure wounds, healing word, and spare the dying.
So let's just take a moment to appreciate True Life. Because mending is a cantrip. So they created a cantrip spell, or they took the cantrip and limited its use as a healing spell by consuming a hit die, which is very much something 4th edition did a lot of.
Yep.
And allows you to use a cantrip to heal without making it broken and overpowered, which I think is fantastic. I feel like I should bring up pictures of these things. I don't know if they've released any official ones or not.
Well, not for 5e.
So what do you guys think of this? What is your thoughts on this bad boy?
I think it's a mini-me Warforged.
You're not wrong.
That's funny. What do you think about the mechanics?
I think it's interesting and can be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think this reminds me of the gnomes in World of Warcraft, right? Where you can get you got the little mechanical gnomes running around. I think it fits really good, not only as flavor, but the new inclusion of this race or lineage. Is it a race or it's a race, right? Or a lineage? Yeah. I forget the difference, but it allows you to basically use your mending cantrip that fits flavor wise but also doesn't restrict you from being. But see, there's some benefits that come with the construct though. There's certain abilities that won't in magics that won't affect an auto gnome that would affect other things like charm person, right? That's a
Yep.
humanoid, isn't it? So there's
Yep.
a lot more benefits to being an auto gnome than they're almost more than meets the eye. Now I want
But
an
there are
auto
some
gnome
spells that do
druid.
more damage to cantrips too. So
That's
constructs.
true.
Wow. Okay.
To constructs, yep. So there's a lot here, and honestly, I feel like they might have gave this a little too much. That's my opinion. I think they gave it a little too much because of the versatility of it being a construct. But that's just Justin's opinion. So next, we're going to talk about the GIF. I love the GIF. They're basically giant hippo-like creatures.
Yep.
And they usually carry guns and shit. Some of them have, smooth skin, while others are short bristles on their face, very much the little, prickly things that hippos have. And as beings of impressive size and an unforgettable appearance, GIF are noticed wherever they go. That's something that's really interesting to me because from a storytelling perspective as a DM, I can have a lot of fun with that because if it's abnormal to have a giant hippo walking around, the NPCs in the world should be walking or reacting in that way. What's really cool is storytelling is a rich tradition among the GIF, and it's not uncommon to see the GIF recounting their past exploits to enrapture a crowd. Now, the idea of a hippo person bard just sounds great, and using their massive jaw with a bunch of instruments like a bagpipe and then like squeezing on their cheeks just is something I envisioned when I was imagining them telling storytelling. They are humanoid. They are medium size. I would really wish we have small size. I wish they would give us large size races. I really do. I think the Loxodon and the GIF would be really great large races, right? Maybe reduce their speed or something. It does have a what's that?
Or Goliath for that matter.
Yeah, Goliath should also be. They're medium too. They do have a
centaurs.
they have speed of 30 feet. They also have a swim speed equal to their walking speed. They also have a damage dealer ability called Hippopotamus. Like a hippopotamus in a crystalware shop, you are naturally adept at damaging things. Like I can envision that. I'm thinking I've been doing a lot of Wheel of Time and Loyal being inside of a small shop and bumping into everything. When you roll a 1 on a damage die for a melee attack, you can re-roll the die and use the new roll, or you can do so no more than once per turn. That's really cool because while it's not quite as powerful as like the Great Weapon Master, being able to do that on any melee attack is actually pretty cool. And in my mind, I'm imagining like a any character that has like a smaller die, like a D4 with a dagger or something, where that would come up pretty often would be kind of nice. And then of course you have Hippo build, which gives you advantage on strength-based checks and strength saving throws.
Yep.
This is really cool because one of my favorite parts about being a barbarian is advantage on strength ability checks, specifically athletics for grapple. The Hippo build automatically grants you that and doubles your you count as one size larger for carrying capacity, push back, drag, and lift. So to me, this immediately would be my go-to grappler if I was to play a grappler that wasn't, let's say, a barbarian. What do you guys think about this?
So this one looks like it can be a fun class, but especially if you're a melee character of some kind.
Yeah, and you notice it's got a lot less features than the auto gnome.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because it has so many features that are related to combat?
Could be.
I think that's their balancing trait. I think. Brandon, what do you think?
I think that is their balancing trait because getting the advantage on strength-based ability checks and strength saving throws just because of your race. That's actually kind of
and
that's a big
re-rolling
deal.
damage die. So I think
Because
because we see that with the auto gnome here, when we do look at the auto gnome, most of its feature are there's only one feature here that's directly related to combat, right? Which is the built for success, right? Which you can increase, you roll this extra die, but you got all this other stuff that's role play or lore based or non-combat related. So I think they're going that way where non-combat features, you get more of them, but obviously damage is obviously at the top here. Ian, would you like to tell us about the, I don't know how to say that. Is it the Hadozi?
Hadozi?
Your guess is
Like,
good as mine.
is what I thought.
I mean, these guys are basically a cross between monkeys and flying squirrels, is what it comes down to. There are people with stunning features that long ago adapted to live among the trees of their homeworld. They're natural climbers with feet as dexterous as their hands, even to the event of having opposable thumbs. And they have membranes of skin loosely hanging from their arms and legs, which, when stretched taut, allows them to glide.
So
Hey,
they're flying
medium.
They're flying monkey squirrels.
Yep. Having speed equal to walk speed, you can use an object action as a bonus action. And as part of the glide, if you're not incapacitated or wearing heavy armor, you can extend your skin membranes and glide. When you do so, you can do the following aerial maneuvers. When you fall, you can move up to 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you descend. And when you take damage from a fall, you can use your reaction to reduce the fall damage to 0.
Dude,
that's kind of fun.
we can officially play as Zoro Norono now, right? Because that implies that you can do stuff with your feet, right? That's what that dexterous feat is. It says use object interaction. So that means no attacks, huh?
Yep.
Oh, that's a shame. That is a real shame.
But you can drink a potion.
You can. Wait, is that fall under? That falls under use an object, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice. You can throw caltraps, throw drink potions, apply poisons. You can do a lot with that. I really like that. That's a really cool new trait. Also, flying monkey squirrels, Brandon, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they are.
That's exactly what they are. That'd be great to be able
Mitchell has a really good point here. He says variant human is hard to beat. Races with flight are one of the few ways to do it. Let's make note that this isn't flight, it's just glide, right? Does it evolve it doesn't evolve into flight at any point, I don't think.
Nope. Looks like it.
And so, as your reaction, you don't take fall damage, which is nice. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What do you guys think about this flying monkey squirrel?
I think
something you would run. You think it's balanced?
To drop off a cliff, and you see your subject below you, and you use your object action as a bonus action to poison your blade, and you assassinate them from the air. Because you can.
My god. Flying squirrel assassins? Dude, what if you reflavor your dagger is like sharpened nuts?
Okay. I do also want to point out that, you know how it says for every 1 foot you fall, you can fly up to 5 feet?
Yeah.
I want to point out in one round, you can fall up to 500 feet.
So they basically have wingsuits on, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that they can, as written, if I'm reading this correctly.
When you fall, you can move up to 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot. So you could
you fall 500 feet for every 6 seconds in D&D.
So you could go 1,500 feet?
No. Whatever the math comes out to.
No, that's not right. So for every 5 feet you fall, you can go. Oh, it's every 1 foot.
Every 1 foot you fall, you can move 5 feet horizontally.
Oh, jeez. That's powerful.
It's 500 times 5. It's 1,500.
So
no, it's not.
No, that's not right.
That's 3.
All right, so let's move on to the next one.
500 feet in 6 seconds per round.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That can get you some distance.
Fairy blood is a better one.
It's like I don't think they
drop bombs
through.
Dude, bombs in the shape of coconut and shape of nuts.
Yeah, 2,500.
No.
Anyway.
Holy shit.
Anyways, let's We'll move on. Who wants to take who just took that one?
I did.
Brandon, you want to tell us about the plasmoid?
The plasmoid. Oh,
This
these
is awesome.
plasmoids are amorphous beings with no typical shape. In the presence of other folk, they often adopt a similar form, but there's little chance of mistaking a plasmoid for anything else. They consume food by osmosis, the way an amoeba does, and excrete waste through tiny pores. They breathe by absorbing oxygen through another set of pores, and their limbs are strong and flexible enough to grasp and manipulate weapons and tools.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so it's a sentient amoeba.
Pretty much.
It's an ooze. It's an ooze. You get to be an ooze.
Traits. You're an ooze. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
You get to choose to be
Killer Jello.
small or medium. Your speed is still 30 feet. Amorphous, dark vision, and hold breath. Natural resilience. You have resistance to acid and poison damage. That makes sense.
That's two. Wow.
And you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. Shape self.
My next favorite part is that.
Okay. Shape self. If you are not incapacitated, you can reshape your body to give yourself a head, 1 or 2 arms, 1 or 2 legs, and makeshift hands and feet. Or you can revert to a limbless blob. No action required. As a bonus action, you can extrude a pseudopod that is up to 6 inches wide and 10 feet long. Bard's gonna love this. Or reabsorb it into your body. You can use this pseudopod to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container, stow or retrieve an item from an open container, or pour out the contents of a container. The pseudopod can't attack, activate magic items, or carry more than 10 pounds. Is that a dick joke? That's a
Yes.
It's a severe dick joke.
That's a dick joke. I would just have him walking around with this thing sticking out and knocking shit over.
And on another note, I don't see any particular benefit per se written down for about being a blob. Like I would think you could at least force your way into like small cracks or crevasses, but yeah.
Mitchell Adams is saying, so you can't push a button with a pseudopod. Yes, you can. You can use it to manipulate an object, unlock a door, open a container, stow an item. You just can't basically attack with it.
Yep.
Or activate magic items or carry more than 10 pounds. I'm not alone in thinking that was flavored as a dick. Okay, so the reason I love this, so I want to just be able to crawl up on top of people and like cover their head and try to suffocate them. I can hold my breath for an hour, can you? Oh, I also love the idea of having and this came up in one of the TikTok videos I did. Somebody mentioned using the ooze feature to explain as a sorcerer how you got your power by, attaching to people and absorbing parts of them or something, which could be really cool. What do you guys think about this from a flavor perspective?
It could be fun. More options, and we saw like a blob character in the Orville too. So
for sure,
it said you can't look like someone specifically, but
yeah,
I imagine
take a feature that lets you
use bandages and a cloak and hood to hide all that, so you look like you might be a real person. Can they speak like common, or do you have to sit there going?
I don't know. I would assume that they speak whatever language you choose, but it doesn't actually say, does it? So good luck, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, none of these actually say that they get a language. I think that's probably just understood. I think there's more to these, but this is just what they're providing in the Unearthed Arcana. Yeah, I do think the thing from a mechanical standpoint, there's a lot to be fun to be had here if you like to role play a lot, because an ooze you literally could be a rogue ooze who takes on the form of like a dessert to spy on people. Like, am I the only one that's thought about that? Like Killer Jello, man. I mean, the gelatinous cube has been doing it for 20 plus years. I finally get to do it. And just a disguise kit to look like, you know, a dessert is just, and then maybe one of your pals is picking it up and carrying you around your dessert, sir. It's a little you might want to wait for it to warm up before you take a bite. It
Yes,
says just to backtrack. Go ahead.
Yeah,
What's it say?
if you're gonna do a flying squirrel race, we should probably do a moose race. It's a reference to Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Rock and Bullwinkle, absolutely. Good old days, man. Back when TV
Just need to
was
do,
terrible.
Don't half-ass it, go full ass.
Yeah.
It's very
All right,
buzz,
we're running
full
out of
ass, fuck
time
my
here.
life.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the thri-kreen. They are very much insectile creatures. First thing I thought of, Scyther. When I was like, you get a pair of arms, I'm like, no, I want a swords. I don't just a pair of swords. Their bodies are encased in a protective, you know, chitin, and they can alter their colorations of the carapace to blend in. So once again, I'm totally getting awesome rogue vibes. Like when you hide, you are like camouflaging yourself.
Yep.
And just like stopping in front of something and taking on kind of its shape. I really think that these are really cool because they do have they speak by clacking their mandibles and waving antenna and indicating to other thri-kreen that, you know, they are thinking and feeling something specific. I think this is the first race that's a monstrosity, if I'm not mistaken. Are there any other monstrosity races?
I don't recall one way or another, but yeah, I remember first seeing these things in the dark sun setting. So
Yeah.
and
So
they get a few other fun features.
yeah, so let's talk about the fact that a couple of these races get to choose between being small or medium. I really like that. That's very versatile, and it's certainly something that should be more uh, of an option because, you know, people can range from any, you know,
Yeah,
size, right?
It
Oh, yeah.
depends.
The speed, your walking speed. Man, I have almost walked on people at the store, so I know that people can be creatures can be of a variety of sizes.
I think that's more your perception score than
Whatever. So you get a traditional 30 walking speed, chameleon carapace. When you aren't wearing armor, you get a base armor class of 13 plus your dex, which is cool. As an action, you can change color of your carapace to match the color and texture of your surroundings, giving you advantage on dexterity stealth checks made to hide in those surroundings. Once again, this is sounds like an awesome rogue or gloomstalker build, right? They have
yeah.
dark vision. Their dark vision's out to 60 feet. Is the normal 60 feet or is it 30 feet?
60.
It is 60. Okay.
6, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the fact it has extra arms. It has secondary arms. You have two slightly smaller secondary arms below your primary pair of arms. The secondary arms function like your primary arms with the following exceptions. You can use a secondary arm to wield a weapon that has the light property, but you can't use a secondary arm to wield other kinds of weapons. And you can't wield a shield with your secondary arm. Let's take a moment to breathe that in, you guys. You literally can carry 4 blades.
Yep.
That is awesome. So long as they follow the light property.
Or 2 blades, two blades and 2 light crossbows. Yeah.
2 hand crossbows. 1 hand crossbow and the other hand can reload it. We just solved the loading issue right here.
Yep.
Let's also talk about sleepless revitalization. You do not require sleep and can choose to remain conscious during long rest. That's awesome. Though you must still refrain from strenuous activity to gain the benefit. This sounds awesome, especially as like a spellcaster, like a wizard, who you can say, my brain is a little slower, so I got to spend all this extra time going through and studying for my homework or my memorization. Then they have thri-kreen telepathy, which you have magical ability to communicate mentally with any other number of willing creatures you could see within 120 feet. That is huge. That is such a long way for not being a spell. A contacted creature doesn't need to share a language with you. That's another huge bonus, but it must be able to understand at least language, so it's not, dumb. Your telepathic link to a creature is broken if you and the creature move more than 120 feet apart, obviously, or if you are incapacitated, or either you mentally break it. So this is really fun, man. You can play like the roguish Scyther character with this bad boy, advantage on stealth, wielding 4 blades, and just turning into a freaking blender. What do you guys think?
These things
4
with
wands, a
is
firewall.
really dangerous.
A blender.
I am concerned about the. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean you can attack extra though,
No,
because you're not altering; you're just carrying extra stuff. So
although
I say, go ahead.
although
Fireball.
it kind of does like for at least for this race solve the issue when it comes to throwing daggers.
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Not only that, but also the reloading thing too. So there is some really good
Yep.
What
good ways
about
to do this.
what about grappling with larger arms and poisoning with the smaller arms?
Yep.
Hell yeah, grapple with the 2 big ones, use the little ones to poison a dagger and shiv them.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm telling you, this has got Master Rogue written all over it. I want to play one of these really, really hardcore, man. There's so much you can do with these secondary arms.
There's options.
That's really, really cool. I think that's all that's in this document.
Yep.
So overall, what do your guys think, and when are we getting Spelljammer?
Who knows? I'm guessing sometime this year, but we'll have to see when it's all said and done.
I guess I should explain what Spelljammer is. If you don't know, Spelljammer is a campaign setting that was for advanced D&D, AD&D, which features fantastic outer space environments. That to me just sounds awesome, and with us going into the multiverse, that just makes sense. I mean, the Nautilus machines that the Illithid use are basically spaceships that can travel, different worlds. So I am super excited. Ooh, what did that just say? You can actually grapple a different person with each arm your character has. Oh, dude, that's awesome. So you could in theory grapple 4 characters, because it doesn't say you can't. Well, I think a DM would argue, well, you can only wield light weapons, so how are you going to grapple? But you could still grapple with the 2 and wield and stab with the other ones, I suppose.
Right.
And the fact that it can't wield a secondary arm or secondary shield is kind of weird, but that's just me. I don't know. So I'm really excited. Anybody that's watched our plane shifter games knows that we have been delving into the interdimensional realm shifting and stuff on our own games. So really, would you all have to be within reach though? I would assume. I mean, that's how grapple works, right? Grapple 2 orcs, 2 goblins. I would agree with that. I think you could get away with grappling 2 small creatures with those arms. At least I would allow it, but I can see some DMs giving some restrictions there.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so is there anything else overall that we want to touch on for the travelers of the multiverse? Any speculations? Because I'm pretty sure that the hippo people are from Spelljammer, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that at a glance these look pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rebalancing here and there, because some of these get way more stuff than others.
That definitely, and once again, I think that that's something they're experimenting with. That if you want to play a race that has mostly role play features, you're going to want a lot of them to offset the fact that you're not being able to, bitch slap somebody extra hard as a hippo. Do we talk about Gith, or are those hippos? They're not called Gith. They're called
GIFF.
GIFF, not GIF. GIF Yankee and GIF Zerai.
Graphics interface format, fuckers.
Whatever. All right, I think that'll do it for our main topic. I'm really excited to see where this all goes. I want to revisit Dark Sun. I don't know about anybody else. I want to visit. I want to do Spelljammer. I want it all. I want it all. God, I'm old. Yep. Anything else before we move on? All right. Let me tell you guys about the awesome news. After 200 pages in nonstop writing, Capes and Crooks, a 5th edition superhero RPG, is going to be available in PDF form on our site at critacademy.com and on DriveThruRPG on January 15th. I am super excited for this. It was so much work and exhausting. So I am very excited for this project to come out. Hopefully, those that have witnessed it and have seen some of the games that we've played and everything will consider picking it up. It was 200, what is it, over 200 pages, right? It's a lot.
It's
A lot of work. So hopefully everyone will like it, and I look forward to seeing it just fly off the digital proverbial shelf. What's that? Okay, so it is worth noting that we did try to kickstart this, and it didn't get funded, but I was so confident then in its popularity that it was going to be worth the massive amount of time that I had to sink into it. But I think that and you got to play test it, Ian. What were your overall thoughts of this Capes and Crooks game?
Quite a bit of fun. It seems like everybody else who played it got a kick out of it. So
Yeah, if you don't know, the biggest thing that we did different is we completely reorganized and redeveloped the way the class creation process goes.
yeah.
Because you basically can be or build anything, as far as I can tell right now with the options that we've got, or at least some variation of it, without getting sued.
Yep.
So what are you doing, Brandon?
What?
I don't know. Are you good? All right. With that, let us move on to our Unearthed tips and tricks, where we bring you new and reusable material.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
Okay, first up, we got our character concept, Burgle Bafflestone, who is a male gnome. He is an imposing man with a heavy stainless steel prosthetic left hand. He wears a blue collared shirt and black pants. He accessorizes with a white scarf around the waist and a strap diagonally across his shirt. He keeps his long brown hair kept up in a rat tail, and he wears an eye patch. Now, I'm just curious, is he wearing an eye patch just for kicks, or is he actually missing an eye? Because given the fact he's missing a hand, that doesn't seem to be...
Well, that's up to the player or the DM, I'd imagine.
Yep. Personality-wise, he's a very happy person with lots of energy. To put it simply, he's a very lovable idiot. He dislikes loud distracting noises, but is overall hospitable. His biggest love is that of knowledge, and as such will purchase any books or pay to listen to tales that travelers might have. And history-wise, he was always a brilliant, if unscrupulous mind. He has some formal music training and achieved some minor success.
Ooh,
he is also untrained and undisciplined, which kind of makes him dangerous. This guy definitely has a short fuse by the sounds of it, maybe. And he wants to have a good time and be beloved. And he is not mentally stable and does not behave rationally. Yep. Checks out.
So this is definitely a fun character. I because of his minor success and his untrained, I envision that he isn't able to like maintain his equipment. So he'll be like playing on an instrument and a wire will snap and whack somebody in the face. What do you think about this character? Either of you?
I think you definitely have a lot of fun with it.
It sounds like you're a liability to your party.
Yes. Liability is a really great way to put it. All right. I think that'll do it for our Unearthed tip or our character concept, Burgle Bafflestone. I want to take a moment here to tell everyone that we've been experimenting with a new game style called Clash of Classes. We discussion that talked about 1v1 PvP and which class was stronger, etc. That really just took off in our community. So thanks to everyone that was involved with that. Last Thursday, we ran our first Clash of Classes. The players determined what they were going to be. We gave some rules and they determined them independently and had to completely flesh them out before putting them against each other. And it was so much fun.
Oh, so much fun.
It was fun.
It really, we got so much amazing feedback. I was blown away. We had more watchers of that than any of our other content. So we are super excited to be doing more of them. So keep an eye out. If you have not seen it, I think the producer over here has put a link somewhere for you to check it out. It's about an hour. But we took it with our PvP way in the direction of like WWE and WWF. And it really was just a lot of fun. So, Ian, you were actually the DM. Did you go back and watch it?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think? Because you couldn't hear most of what we were doing.
I can't hear anything you're saying at all, which is why you come going, hey, Ian? Ian? Ian?
Yeah, it's a jackal. Is it a jackal? It's a jackal.
What did you think about it?
I definitely had a lot of fun, and hearing the commentary definitely added a lot more to it than what you had on the combat end. So
yeah, and that's what we wanted. So hopefully you'll go and check that out. We got some really great feedback. One of my favorite one, Rick Stevens said, "Clash of Classes was straight fire." So with that, let's move on to our Unearthed our monster variant today. Today we are talking about the Nixpinar. In order to build this creature, you're going to start with the Tyrannosaurus Rex stat block. Now the Pixinar is a really interesting monster. It is totally created by me from when we were on the Prepper Die show. It's basically a giant monstrosity that just destroys shit. But we're gonna lose some features. We're gonna lose the tail, the bite. Will become a slam, so it'll do bludgeoning damage instead of piercing. And we're going to give it a couple new features. Tentacle, which has a plus 10 to hit with a 15-foot reach. Oh, yeah. And then has a chance, one on a hit does grapple, locking and restraining a character. And it has 6 tentacles, which lash out about it, so it can grapple multiple enemies all at once. And then, of course, we're going to give it the fling ability, because what good is it to have a monstrosity and monstrous creature grab people if he's not just going to toss them wildly into walls and trees and acid pits and shit, right? Knocking each other prone and smashing into other allies. It's just great stuff. And of course, I always have to give reactions, because I feel like either reactions or legendary actions are necessary, because monsters are just more fun when they do shit on other people's turns. So we're going to give them Fearsome Roar. When a creature hits the Nixpinar, it can use its reaction to release a bone shaking roar. Targets within 60 feet that can hear it must succeed a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or become frightened. That happens anytime it can be hit. So the players have to be careful. They got to use spells to reinforce their ability to avoid being, frightened. And then we're also going to give it Flailing Fling. If a creature scores a critical hit on Nixpinar, it can use its reaction to take the fling action on its turn, or as a reaction, basically launching people around as it gets its ass kicked. What do you guys think about this horrifying monster?
It sounds fun. I like the idea of picking people up and throwing them.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Ian?
lots of grappling. All the grapplings.
We have a question. 6.
6? Yeah. Average party size.
It's convenient, that number, huh? Sorry, I'm responding to somebody. All right, so with that, this is pretty much straight up slam and tank and spank type fight, but you never know. I like the idea of putting this monster on like a high area around cliffs. So there's a risk of being thrown off a cliff, which makes it that much more dangerous. So that'll do it for our monster, the Nixpinar, which I believe is a combination of Sanskrit words that means like multi-arms or beast arm with beast or some I don't remember, but it's pretty funny. Brandon, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast, which also comes from the adventure that I wrote on the Prep or Die stream?
I will do that right there. Yes. The Crystal Towers is the encounter created during Prep or Die show. Shout out for having us on. Thanks, guys. That was a fun time.
Yep, it was a blast.
Sune Cardonel. Sune Cardonel, male elf alchemist. He seeks out a way to enter the Crystal Towers. Ancient tombs and scrolls indicate that the Crystal Towers of the Tundra Dwarves contain an ancient fluid that can be used to make elixirs that can bring eternal youth and is said to heal any wound. Sune motives are selfish. He's selfish, that's his motive. Has been unable to enter the Brilliant Towers due to a monstrous beast known as a Nix Pinar that stalks the icy lands that surround it. He seeks the aid of adventurers. The monster is too strong for the party, and they must retreat or die. With a bit of research on the area, they can learn that the Nix Pinar was created for the Tundra Dwarves to ward off hostile armies from ages past. Rumor has it that the Crystal King held a powerful ice pick that was used to command the beast. Ooh. When the dwarves were losing the battle with their sworn enemies, the Orkin, the Crystal King, commanded the beast to protect azure streams in the city. He passed his ice pick, Frostbringer, to his allies in Dryadelis? Yeah, Dryadelis.
I don't know. Call it whatever you want.
Dryadelis for safekeeping. Our heroes must venture into the warded and secluded Emerald Sea to find its leader and Queen Priestess, Titania, a druid shapeshifter. The characters must convince the priestess that their cause is just worthy enough to allow them to wield Frostbringer and enter the city.
Ooh.
Page 2. Titania seeks to break the Emerald Sea from its conclusion.
Are you looking at the screen and not show notes?
No, I'm looking at the show notes. What the hell?
Oh, I thought you were yelling at Alicia to change the slide.
Slide? No. Look at the show notes.
Aziz! Light!
I don't take orders from you.
Anyway,
Right. Titania seeks to break the Emerald Sea from its conclusion. Their borders have been closed for thousands of years to outsiders. In order to do this, she needs to send an envoy into the world to open trades with their closest neighboring kingdom, the Norn. Yeah, seclusion. That's what I thought the word was. The Norn are giants among men, Goliaths, and their lands border the frigid lands home of the Crystal Towers and the Emerald Sea. As warrior fishermen, they have a strong trade. Warrior fishermen. That's
wrong
my
with that?
man. Nothing. Huh. Their characters must convince them to open trade with the Emerald Sea. They are happy to, but require equivalent trade. The Emerald Sea has a rare sap that can be used as a potent glue for weapons and crafts. The Norn King, Illithog, Rock Striker, Kulathanal. What? Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Can't we just use like Steve Johnson or something?
No.
Can be offered.
Using boring names like Steve Johnson. No, get out of here with that.
Giggity. Can be offered this as a solution. But the characters must convince Titania to commit to allowing the Norn to farm some mighty oaks for harvest. Upon successive entry into the Crystal Towers, Sune shares the full extent of his plans for the Azure Stream. He intends to build an alchemic factory to create and sell this valuable resource at exorbitant prices.
Oh, yeah, this isn't representative of our capitalist society at all. What do you guys think?
I think Sune's a dick.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's fair,
he a little
but-
bit is.
yeah. There's definitely a lot to go off of and a lot of hooks to pull off of for other adventures too.
Yeah, I wanted something that was more than just there's a big monster, let's kill it. So we came up with this whole, or I came up with this whole, you got to get somebody else to help the person to get what you need to go do the thing. All to find out that the guy that hired you is actually a douche, which
There's
is,
always one.
kind of my jam. So, so, all right, that'll do it
Papa
for
Fox
our
tacos. Battle
what?
axes for bass.
What tacos? I want tacos.
Papa
All right,
Fox
that'll do
tacos.
it for our encounter, Crystal Towers. If you have not watched it, please consider checking out the Prepper Die Show, where this all stems from, most of the stuff in this episode stems from images they provided that I wrote about. So, Ian, would you like to tell us about our magic item, the
Our magic
Frostbringer?
item is Frostbringer. It is a war pick, legendary, and requires attunement, but by a dwarf. When you hit with an attack using this magic war pick, the target takes an extra 2d6 cold damage. In addition, while you hold this weapon, you are immune to fire damage. Yeah. In freezing temperatures, the blade sheds bright blue light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet. When you draw this weapon, you can extinguish all non-magical flames within 60 feet of you. This probably can be used no more than once per hour. As action, you can speak the weapon's command word. When you do, you can attempt to beguile a beast that you can see within 60 feet. The target must succeed on a DC 18 Wisdom saving throw or suffer the effects of the Dominate Beast spell. This effect does not require concentration and lasts until dispelled, or you cast it again on another creature. If you or creature that are friendly to you are fighting it, it has advantage on the saving throw.
What do you guys think?
Stop hogging the pussy.
I mean, getting like immediate fire damage is like awesome.
I think Frostbringer is racist.
Why is that?
Because
Because only could be attuned by dwarf. Well, it's not sentient, so. So yeah, this all ties to the same adventure. This is the item that is used to manipulate the Nixapinar into defending the area or whatever. So, do you think? What do you guys think about the fact that the Dominate Beast doesn't require concentration and lasts until dispelled instead of 1 hour?
It is a legendary item at least, so in that regard, that makes sense. But it can get a little out of hand sometimes.
Yeah, definitely
Potentially.
something to be careful of. So,
Yep.
got any comments on this bad boy?
And like I said, you immediate fire is awesome, and more damage is always nice. So yeah, solid item all around.
I love that it extinguishes flames and stuff just by drawing and sheathing it. I mean, that just shows you it's so legendary. It affects the world around it just by being,
Yep.
Brandon, do you have anything?
I was like the idea that you have the immunity to fire damage. So kind of that right there.
That's definitely strong. I really struggled between the immunity and resistance, but I figured with a legendary item, I can get away with it.
Yeah.
So, all right, that'll do it for our magic item, the Frostbringer. Our dungeon master tip is a new condition called Fatigued from Galder's Gazetteer. Holy crap, let's be honest, exhaustion is a potent penalty. Galder's Gazetteer has a great alternative, a nice area in the middle. The new condition is called Fatigued. It's a less harsh penalty than exhaustion, so the GM can more easily inflict this condition multiple times without creating major imbalances, which means character death in most cases. The rules for this condition can be used along with levels of exhaustion. However, a GM might decide to use fatigue instead of exhaustion for certain game mechanics. For example, a GM might find the use of exhaustion in the Path of the Berserker Barbarian's Frenzy feature too punishing. In this case, the GM can allow the player to suffer fatigue instead. Any effect that removes a level of exhaustion can end the creature's fatigue. Also, finishing a long rest ends this condition. So, what is fatigued? Fatigued creatures suffer a -2 penalty of attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, and that use the ability corresponding to that creature's lowest ability score. That is intriguing. If an already fatigued creature suffers another effect that causes it to become fatigued, it suffers an additional -2 penalty on the attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws that use the next lowest ability score, and so on up to all 6 ability stats. So the last one to be punished is your primary stat that you're most robust in. Ending this condition removes all penalties at once. So if you're a barbarian, for instance, and your intelligence is your dump stat, when you get fatigued, the little bit of brain power you have is going to go right away. And so I really think that this is a really cool mechanic that's kind of in between the severity of exhaustion and more punishing than a lot of the other features. What do you think, Brandon?
I like the idea, especially the starting from the lowest to the highest as you
Mhm.
get more and more.
Yep.
But man, -4. That's a lot. Does that stack continuously? Like, does it end up being
Yes.
minus
Up to
6
6 times.
by the third
But
time?
it affects different ability scores, except for your attack roll definitely changes. So eventually your attack roll will be so bad, you might as well just take the dodge action. It's gonna be more effective. Mitchell says, "I'd like to see
Ouch.
the effect like fatigued called wounded. A character would be affected by this status when they take more damage than their con score in one hit. That seems like that would be pretty common at higher levels. So I think that would definitely have to be a little more design design robust. Ian, what do you think about this?
I think the fact that it's easier to at least get rid of than, say, exhaustion is definitely a really nice bonus, because exhaustion can definitely be punishing and can stack on itself and escalate very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of why I included this, because I really think that this is especially for the Frenzy Barbarian, this is a good alternative. Though I've been playing one in the Initiative and Intrigue can't story stream, and it doesn't affect me as much as you would think, considering I frenzy every time I can in combat. I like to choke some bitches. All right, so I think, do you have anything to add, Brandon?
Nope.
All right, that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip, Fatigue by Galder's Gazetteer. If you have not picked that up, that book is absolutely amazing. Has variants and rebuilds of many of the core classes, and they are pretty well designed and thoroughly play tested. So consider checking it out. Uh, all right, our player tip of the podcast is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. I don't know. It's separating.
Ellie, if you could you align those in the podcast? Thank you. And you can avoid dickitude by using undead infiltration. So the wizard animate dead at level 5 cast on a corpse to a zombie or a skeleton. You can now, once you've done this, you can mentally control it as a bonus action. They grow in strength with the undead thralls ability, which is great. And a rogue that has proficiency with disguise kit and can mimic speech that they've heard before. So let's talk about multi-class in our wizard and rogue and taking mastermind, and you can use the help action up to 30 feet. This means you can quite literally dress up a zombie with a disguise kit and use mimic speech and throw your voice. This gives you a walking, talking creature to infiltrate locations with no risk or harm to yourself.
As long as you're within 30 feet away.
Yeah, but you can keep your distance.
Oh, yeah.
I love the idea of using this to sneak your undead zombies into cities.
Mhm.
Like, because you know everyone's going to have a negative reaction to you walking into a city with a skeleton walking around behind you.
Yeah.
But the idea of using it like a Jeff Dunham puppet is just glorious. Like, just doing dirt deals and stuff. You could try to do sketchy shit that if they just try to punish you, you just lose a zombie and you go get a new one. What do you guys think?
There's a lot of versatility that you can do with this, and be for communication, scouting ahead, or saying there's traps up ahead even.
Yep. And you can, if this thing gets caught in a trap, let's say the rogue normally might, Just get another one.
Yep.
Got anything to add to this, B?
Kill it, reanimate it.
Yeah, use it as a was that?
Recycling
Beast of
traffic
burden.
trigger. What's that?
Using it as a beast of burden. No,
Yeah,
carry
I
my
like
shit
it.
for me.
That's hilarious. Once again, the fact you can throw your voice, you can disguise kit it, means you can even make it look like somebody of import. And if somebody finds out that it's not that person, the risk is minimal. Forget one zombie, stack 2 halfling ones in a cloak. All right, I think that'll do for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a
Don't be
dick.
a dick.
You can avoid dickitude by trying this undead infiltration. You're gonna piss off your DM at some point, I promise. Respecialize in the arcane trickster and blade singer. That would be interesting. That's a good combo in and of itself. But this certainly is a theme you would have to ride out. I mean, otherwise, you don't generally want to build a single build just for shit. That's not true. I do that all the time. So I just thought that this would be hilarious and funny and just be using him for like my character. Oh, dude, what if your character just doesn't want to talk to anybody at all? And all of his interactions are done through a zombie. Maybe he's afraid, like stage fright or shy or something. Oh, my goodness.
He just sits back from behind a tree. Just
What if the zombie is disguised as like a noble and the wizard that's controlling him pretends to be the servant just to not draw attention to themselves? Could you imagine doing that and not telling the party? Oh my goodness. This
Wow.
is so many implications. I agree with Garwin. This is definitely going to be quite fun. A zombie mime. All right, that'll do it. I already did all that. So before we close out today, we have a wonderful gift to give away. Compliments of the old goat Heedley. We are giving away the War Wagon. A large shipment of adamantine armor and weapons must be delivered to Fort Rosnak in a non-stop journey. This will require special attention and something few could ever imagine. The War Wagon, a heavily armored stagecoach built of oak and reinforced with adamantine hardware. Written by Andy the Goat Heedley, the War Wagon is a 5e adventure designed for third-level characters in which the party will be able to either play as the robbers or the defenders of the War Wagon. A dynamic, fast-paced, and mobile adventure which will thrill your players, I promise. I had so much fun reading through this. I am so happy that he gave us the opportunity to give it away. Brandon, who's our winner today?
that sounds like fun.
Dude.
Our winner today is what the fuck? Nick Dilbo. Nick Dilbo.
Yes.
Nick Bowie. Nick Bowie.
Nick DLE Bowie.
Yeah, at least she's gonna drop it in the chat.
Nick
All
Dilbo.
right. Excuse me. Congratulations. Woo!
Yeah.
I
have good sleep.
If you didn't win, no problem. Head on over to critacademy.com and subscribe for your chance to win. Brandon.
Yeah.
What I do?
If you enjoy.
That's right. Yeah. If you enjoy the show and want to support us, visit us at critacademy.com. Follow us on social media and leave us a review, preferably 5-star reviews, because that helps us the most.
Yes. On Spotify, you can leave reviews now. So if you've got the mobile app, Spotify, please leave us a review. Push us to the top of the charts. Let others find us and grow our community. So all this work is not for naught. It's not for naught. There's got to be a better way to say that. So, also, once again, Clash of Classes, if you haven't watched it, check it out. Please provide feedback. This is a new thing for us that we're experimenting with, and everyone seems to love it, so we want to do even better. Keep an eye out on social media and all that jazz for all the special, details that'll be coming out. We'll put up polls and stuff in regards to that to try to optimize the process as we kind of stumble through this. But with that, I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Adios.